What is up guys, Andy Forrest Team Runner here, and today I'm giving you guys my first impressions of the Asics NOVABLAST 2. So not one, but two runs done and dusted in the Asics NOVABLAST 2, the most highly anticipated shoe for me in 2021. You guys know how much I love the original NOVABLAST. Over 400 miles in that shoe now, still going strong, and I cannot wait to give you my thoughts on version 2. Sequels are always a little bit hit and miss. Are they going to mess things up, or are they going to take it down the same route and keep progressing on the original design? Today we're going to be going through all of that and my thoughts, but first we'll dive into a technical overview as we always do. So if you're excited for today's video, guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and we'll start with the tech. So we'll start off by saying I went true to size, which is a UK 13. Now a lot of you guys with the original NOVABLAST went down half a size. Yes, the toe box is roomy in the shoe. I have a good thumb width at the end. I prefer that, if I'm honest with you. So I did toy with going down to 12.5, but I thought, no, I'll stick with 13. I've enjoyed the room in the original NOVABLAST. I want to enjoy the same in this one. So just be aware, it is nice and roomy in the toe box. And in my size, it comes in at 355 grams or 12.6 or 12.7 ounces. And I cannot find the exact stack height, sadly, but I do know we've gone from a 10mm drop in the original one to an 8mm drop in this one, due to the fact that we have more flight foam blast in the forefoot. So what we'll do is we'll work our way from the heel counter area, talk about the ankle collar, the tongue, the lacing, the upper, the midsole, and then we'll move swiftly on to the outsole. So what we're going to start off by saying, and this is nice and plush in and around the heel counter area. Now this is kind of a max cushion / daily trainer, so you're going to get comfort in this shoe. And I think there's a little bit more padding in this than there was in version 1. The problem is my version 1 has over 400 miles in it now, and all this padding around here really has compressed. So I can't tell and I can't remember. It does feel a little bit plusher, especially up and around the back here, but it's all good. It feels lovely, fits really nice. And what they've added in version 2 is a heel stability feature, which I think is some kind of plastic cup that sits around here. So in version 1, you used to be able to push the heel counter right over. You can't do that in this one now, and that's to aid stability. The soft midsole in this shoe often caused people, runners, we're all individual, but did cause some people some instability. It's completely understandable. I'm suffering with it a little bit in the Rebel V2 right now, and other people were suffering with it in the NOVABLAST. I thankfully didn't suffer with it, but I do notice this. We'll talk about this shortly, but I do notice this, and it does feel a little bit more stable, which is a good thing all round. The ankle collar is lovely, sits a beautifully cut groove, sits nicely under the ankle bone, no issues, no rubbing. That bumper padding, as I said, around there, lovely and plush. Feels good. Gusseted tongue, nice and thin at the top here. It is gusseted, which means we have some elastic attaching the tongue to the medial and lateral sides of the shoe, meaning you get a nice, comfortable fit over the top of your foot. Again, this is all positives, because with the NOVABLAST, and again, I never really suffered this too much, but I can understand and I can see why people suffer with it. It has a super roomy toe box, which is great. We should always compliment companies that stop cramming our toes in the toe box, and this is great. But what I also found with version 1 is, and a lot of you guys found, it had cheese wire laces, so very, very thin laces. A lot of you struggled to get a decent lockdown. So not only could your toes have a lot of wiggle room, but you also struggled to get a decent lockdown across the top of the foot there. So by putting the gusseted tongue in and addressing the cheese wire laces with these more thicker laces, more traditional I should say laces, we have a much better fit across the top, meaning your foot feels a lot more secure and a little bit more snug. Happy days. Bog standard lacing system, nothing fancy, but as I just said, gives you a nice secure fit. So we've got a better heel counter, we have lovely lacing system, great gusseted tongue, all combines for a solid fit. And as I just alluded to, a lovely wide toe box, lots of wiggle room. As I said in the intro, I've gone the same size as before. I do have a good thumb width, which is great. I'm happy with that. This is an easy daily trainer. I am not looking for something to cram my feet into. I'm happy with the wriggle room. We have a double layered engineered mesh upper, jacquard engineered mesh upper, very similar to the version 1. Again, slightly different slits in the top of the top layer of it, but you can see if I hold it there, through those slits, the under layer is underneath. Again, feels very similar to version 1. Quite stretchy, not too stretchy, but quite moldable, sits around your foot beautifully. It's just hitting the spot. And that's about it really. The overlays on the Asics logo is really about all that makes up this upper on the shoe. Then we have the Flight Foam Blast midsole, which once again is super fantastic. I love this midsole, it is so great, and it was so nice to get back into a fresh pair of it. It's really weird because the first NOVABLAST, I've got over 400 miles in, they're still going really strong. But I have noticed a difference in the bounce. So getting back in these, that a fresh pair, it feels so good. If you've tried the NOVABLAST, you know exactly what I mean. And then we have the classic AHA outsole rubber, Asics High Abrasion rubber. And this outsole pattern is exactly the same as version 1. Rub it in the high wearing areas, cut out in the other areas to try and eliminate some of the weight. And overall, it just works really well. So let's move on to the juicy details. My first impressions of the Asics NOVABLAST 2. How was it and how did I find it? Well, I've kind of dropped a lot of hints throughout that technical overview that I really have enjoyed this shoe straight away from the off. The one thing, the magic of the first NOVABLAST was that I put my foot in it and started running, and within the first few steps, a massive smile came across my face. And this is no different. Now, I do wonder if I hadn't have tried the first NOVABLAST, if this would have given me an even bigger smile. I don't know. But what this gave me is that comfort and solace that I finally found a fresh pair of NOVABLAST. They are such a good shoe. Now, I've taken it on a couple of workouts, a couple of runs so far. The first one was a kind of a maintenance workout, 10 by 3 minutes. And the other one was just an easy run. So I've given it a couple of pace ranges to work through just to see where this fits in. Now, the one thing I am going to say about the NOVABLAST 2, and again, this is probably just my mentality, but NOVABLAST version 1 I used so versatile, it was incredible. Like I did for easy runs all the way up to 400 meter repeats. I did a Vaporfly versus NOVABLAST test video, and that was great fun to make. But I don't think, because I just absolutely loved it and I wanted to use it, it made me happy, it made me smile, and I wanted to use it on every single run that I could. The one thing I'll say about this shoe is that I've already put my foot in it and I've done that 10 by 3 minute workout, and I'm already thinking, actually, do you know what? I don't fancy doing workouts in the NOVABLAST anymore. And so that's a little bit sad. Like I don't feel like I want to be quite as versatile with this pair as I do with the first one. But that I think is just down to the fact that I've got better shoes in the rotation to deal with all of that faster stuff. But what it did do is it just made me feel magic again. I absolutely just can't praise Asics enough for producing such a great daily trainer. And I look around at all the other manufacturers and think this is what you need to be aspiring to for a max cushion / daily trainer for all of us. It just gives everything that I want it to. It did feel slightly differently, and I'll tell you for why. Obviously that 8mm drop has changed the profile of the shoe, and I do notice the extra cushion. I think a lot of people are reporting that it's softer than version 1. I actually wouldn't say it's softer, I'd say it's on a par. I kind of feel like it's the same. But what I do notice is I do notice that extra cushioning in the forefoot. So I don't quite feel like I'm stepping off the edge of a cliff in this shoe. The 10mm drop in the NOVABLAST V1 was a shoe that I go to when I was recovering from injury as well. So to relieve the stress on the Achilles, the higher the drop, the less pressure there is on the Achilles. And I did notice that I didn't quite feel like I was quite so like that when I was running. It did feel a little bit more natural this way, which did kind of change the style of run it changed the feel of the run, if that makes sense. I definitely felt different running in it, but I also felt like I noticed the forefoot cushioning more. It felt super comfortable all the way around. And for me, straight away, I kind of went to myself, actually, this is a Mach 4. This is a replacement. This is an easy day, moderate at best kind of shoe. Maybe some marathon pace work, but I'd reserve this now for pretty much anything easy and moderate. Now it has gained weight. Let's talk about that. It's gained some weight, but it's not gained a lot. The version 1 in my size was 346 grams. This is 355. So it's only gained 9 grams. It's not massive, but I can kind of see where that's all coming from. That's going to come from these plastic inserts in and around the heel. It's going to come from, like, I know it's tiny and pathetic, but the laces are a little bit thicker. The padding is I'm sure the padding's a little bit more around here. So all these things, tiny things, are going to add up. Does it bother me that it's slightly heavier? Obviously you want to see companies trending in the direction of them trying to get a little bit lighter, but actually no, it doesn't. This doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I've got to be honest with you, all it makes me think of this shoe when I'm running it is this is a perfect 10 out of 10 easy daily trainer. I can't speak highly enough of this shoe. Yes, I'm going to be less versatile in the shoe. Yes, I'm not going to be taking it out and thrashing it through certain workouts and all of that stuff. But my word, this thing is going to get so much use. It's unbelievable. Kind of like the Mach 4 where it just slotted in and just soaked up so many of the miles. This thing is now going to do that job instead of the Mach 4, to be honest with you. So I've got to be honest with you, this is a big thumbs up from me. How has it done in terms of version 1 to version 2? Has it gone down? Has it gone up? I think they're trending in the right direction. They've made some great alterations. They've made some solid alterations that I think is going to allow more people to run in the shoe. People that struggle with the stability will hopefully find this a little bit better. I'm not sure how much better, but hopefully a little bit better. And I think if they can then think about version 3, about maybe just trying to shed a little bit of the weight somehow, then we really are going to be trending definitely in the right direction. So overall, my first impressions are, wow, what a shoe. I've got a long run to do in it, so I'll go do a good long run test, and I'll make sure it's a nice sort of relaxed, easy or moderate long run, nothing more than that. Give this thing a good outing, good time on feet, see how that goes, and then I can't wait to ramp this thing up. And I'm telling you now, it's going to go well up and over 100 miles. So there we go. Those are my thoughts, initial early impressions on the Asics NOVABLAST 2. Massive thumbs up. A big winner from Asics right here. But let me know in the comments below if you've tried the NOVABLAST 2, because I know it's been out for a few days now. What do you think, and how do you compare it to version 1? Do you prefer in this one, or do you prefer version 1? I've got to be honest with you, I just can't wait to use it more, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's get that discussion going and let's talk more about this shoe. This deserves as much airtime as possible. Well done, Asics. That's it from me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Until then,